Yesterday we did begin to talk about the ancient Chinese philosophies in general, mainly Confucianism, legalism, and Taoism. And I did talk about numerous less significant schools as well, namely Mohism, the schools of Names, the school of Yin-Yang tradition, etc. These philosophical thoughts raised the significance of ancient Chinese metaphysical traditions, as well as their political and ethical theories. At the same time, Chinese Buddhism had a direct influence on the rest of the East Asian cultural sphere. Buddhism arrived in ancient China during 206 BC and became prevalent toward the end of 220 BC and later on. And it was a period of the rise of royal Han dynasty. Buddhism became a prominent religion during the period of Han dynasty. Buddhism became predominant in ancient China under this royal dynasty and fledged to develop into distinct Chinese forms of both the Chan and Zen Buddhist cults or traditions. Now let me talk about one of the important Chinese philosophical schools of thoughts. It is precisely Confucianism. Confucianism is one of the great ancient Chinese philosophical theory. The mentor Confucius was the proponent of Confucius doctrine, otherwise known as Ruism. Ruism, which means the doctrine of the scholars. The scholars provides certain doctrines about life in general, the empirical course of life. This doctrine is known as Confucius doctrine, or otherwise as Ruism. Its Chinese philosophical system were characterized by religious, ritualistic, and moral applications, with all the implications into the daily life of the Chinese people. Their cognition, sensations, empirical course of life, etc., etc. After the Confucius period, his traditions were followed by a great thinker, Master Kong, who lived around 551 BC toward 479 BC. You know, BC is a reverse mode. And this Master Kong went on transmitting the values of theology of his ancestor Confucius and others. During the philosophical schools of thoughts period, during the periods of these Confucius schools of thoughts of philosophy, one of the important influential classical Confucian philosophy were formulated by Mencius and Xuan Huang. However, both of their views disregarded on the innate moral nature of human beings. They denounced that moral nature is an innate thing in human beings. It derives out of their course of life by their learning practices, etc. Confucianism focuses on humanistic values along with the family life and social life in harmony. A harmonious course of social and family life was the perception of, or the conception of Confucius from the beginning. He believed in benevolence and perfect human nature and founded a system of ritual forms. Very, very orthodox ritual forms that determine how a human being should act in the course of life by all his empirical sensations, based on the transcendent principle of heaven. He delivered a celestial realm that is called as heaven. He did also believe about gods. He asserted that human beings should believe in heaven, a realm of heaven, and the spirits and all the Shen gods. Shen gods means, Shen god is the Chinese version or a Chinese word that derived to indicate about God or a supernatural being or a deity or several spirits embodied with these numerous forms of vigor, vitality, and energy. The second meaning of Shen is that it remains in the psyche of human beings and drive to make life enthusiastically with vigor and the power of mind. And Confucius asserted to believe in the Shen gods and the heaven and all the spirits and all the supernatural elements that make life very, very enthusiastic to carry on all our activities with enthusiasm and vigor. Confucianism became very prominent during the Han Dynasty period. Han Dynasty upheld the theory of Confucius. The Han Dynasty was one of the prominent ancient Chinese imperial dynasty. The emperor himself helped the philosophers of Confucius and his followers to propagate his sublime thoughts widely across China. As a major ideology, the Chinese people became more and more attracted to it. Confucianism was revived as Neo-Confucianism during the period of Tang Dynasty. The latter period makes Confucianism more refined with the Neo-Confucianism thoughts. And its idealistic ideology became very successful during the period of later Chinese dynasties, namely during Song and Ming dynasties. The prominent thinkers of resurgent Neo-Confucianism were Shuxi and Wang and Yang Ming, whose versions of thoughts were promoted by the imperial state as the refined Neo-Confucianism. However, Confucianism got suffered several setbacks during the 20th century. And nevertheless, Confucianism revived, termed as Neo-Confucianism, and not only flourished in mainland of China, but also spread widely across several other Eastern Asian countries, namely Hong Kong, Macau, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and Vietnam, and also in Singapore as well. These were the prominent ancient ideological or philosophical or more idealistic philosophical thoughts of Confucianism, which became very prominent after Buddhism, Shen Buddhism particularly. Buddhism had two divergent forms in the Southeast Asian countries, the Chan tradition and Zen Buddhist traditions. Later, Zen Buddhism became very powerful, very prominent in several East Asian countries, particularly China, Hong Kong, Japan, etc. Although these Buddhism became very prominent, Confucianism did also very powerful. It also became very powerful across these countries. Mainland China and other Asian countries, Hong Kong, Macau, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and Vietnam. These are the theoretically important facts about Confucianism. Now let me talk about the other important schools of thoughts, legalism and Taoism. The time is very limited so that we can explain about it in the next episode. So right now let me stop this episode.